get gaming. Saturday morning, got my coffee in my game room. What more could I ask for? And honestly, not a whole lot. I'm surrounded by games, toys, and comics that I grew up with playing and love to this day, if not even more. As I get older, I notice that gaming becomes a bigger centerpiece of my life each and every year, even every day. So, what do I do when I wake up every Saturday morning? A lot, honestly. But one thing I look forward to every weekend is playing some games here in my game room. My game room isn't giant. I don't have thousands and thousands of games for every console. But the games and consoles that I do have, I love and cherish more than I think anyone else should. So, let's hit the rewind button on our old VHR. Right? Video cassette recorder? Yeah, or VHS player. And let's take a stroll down memory lane. What got me into gaming? But first, let's play. The joys of being a kid every Saturday morning, waking up knowing I have the whole day to myself, playing games, chilling out, maxing out, relaxing, all cool. Just kidding. But really, guys, what it comes down to is just pure joy and ecstasy knowing that you have an entire day without having any responsibilities or duties to really, I died. To really have to do anything at all. I mean, as an adult even, you do have things you have to do. Let's be real. But on the bright side, you have Saturday and Sunday to just relax, have fun, enjoy yourself, and most of all, get in touch with your inner kid and have some fun. I mean, at the end of the day, we were all kids once, and some of us still are. I died again. But the matter of the fact is, we all played video games at one point or another in our childhood or our life just growing up in general. So, let's talk about that. So as you guys can see, this is my humble video game collection. It ranges from NES all the way up to the current gen of what we have today, and that is in 2019. Who knows when you're watching this video? Maybe it's sometime in the future, maybe we have flying cars. I don't know, maybe we have a president everyone actually likes. Anyways, I have tons and tons of games here that I grew up with playing that I loved so much. Like Marvel Comics X-Men for the Sega Genesis, which you probably can't see because my camera is so far. This is such a great title where you can play as many of the X-Men and go on an adventure from the Savage Land to the Mars, or not, sorry, the Moon space station, and have a great time doing it. I love the artwork. Another game that I grew up playing and loving so much was Capcom's Super Street Fighter 2 for the Sega Genesis. This was the first version I played of this game, aside from the cabinet version at the arcade, and I was the kid to beat on the block. I loved this game so much, and it brought me so much joy. But Nick, you keep avoiding the question, what got you into gaming? Alright, so when I grew up, my parents had an NES. We had the Mario Duck Hunt cartridge, and we had Gradius and Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. And let me tell you what, I have a picture, not with me, my mom has it, of myself with a Nintendo Entertainment System light gun in my hand and a bottle in the other. I learned how to play the NES when I was like 2 or 3 years old and rocked it and owned it. Games that got me into gaming in my early stages are games just like Gradius. Gradius, or Gradius, however you want to pronounce it, is a great shooter by Konami. It's a side-scrolling shooter with an upgradable weapon system, and honestly, probably one of the most controversial things of that game. For some reason or another, many people don't necessarily like the way you can upgrade your weapons and ship in that game. But I, for one, like it. You know, color me blind, but I love that game. I used to sit in front of the TV for hours just trying to beat the dang game. Obviously, I was a little tyke and wasn't the best at that game. And like I mentioned before, another title that got me into gaming, well rather titles, was the Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt cartridge. This dual cartridge was probably the bulk of my early childhood, where I would play Duck Hunt, get tired of that dang dog laughing at me, and hop onto Super Mario Brothers, only to get so far in the game, and then game over. This is a classic title that almost anyone in their early youth has played or known someone who has it, or had it rather, and would go to their house. Light guns were always broken. I can tell you that right away. Almost every kid on the block had a light gun, but it never worked. So if you really want to know what game actually got me deep into gaming, you don't have to look very far. But try not to blink, because this game ran so fast with all of its blast processing, you might not even see it coming. And that's right, guys, none other than Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Sonic and I, we share a special bond. See, we both have the same birthday, or rather, we were both released in Northern America on the same day. That's June 23rd, 1991. Now, obviously, I wasn't old enough to play the first game because I was just popping out to say hello. But Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I had this as a pack-in game for my very own console. The very first console I ever owned, the Sega Genesis. That's right. I looked at Nintendo and went, sorry guys, I enjoyed the early years. Now it's time for me to move on with some blast processing! So guys, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I spent hours and hours and hours playing this game, having so much fun, having all the neighborhood kids come over, all of us trying to beat the game, and well, I gotta share a secret with you guys. I did not beat Sonic the Hedgehog 2 until last year, 2018. It was a bittersweet moment. There was a little bit of growing up I didn't want to let go. That game was, in essence, the last game from my childhood that I never beat. And I thought to myself, maybe I should keep it that way for the rest of my life. That way, that chapter of my life never officially closes. But I ponied up one night and said, you know what? We're gonna do this. We're gonna beat this game. And it's not like I didn't have the skill to beat the game. It's just, I had some nostalgic feeling I didn't want to let go of. Now granted, when I beat the game, I think for any instance, it made my bond with that game even stronger. I will never forget all of the great times I had playing Sonic the Hedgehog 2 as a kid and as an adult. So, I mean, it really doesn't matter if I beat the game or not, but I thought that'd be a little funny tidbit for you guys to know. I always bragged about how it was so fast I couldn't catch up and beat the game because of all of its blast processing. 16 bits a game. That game for sure. One heck of a responsible game that got me into gaming. Another title that is heavily responsible for getting me into gaming is one that is back on the Nintendo system, and that is the SNES, or Super Nintendo Entertainment System. This is a Konami classic, and if you haven't played this, I highly suggest you take some time, look for the game in your local gaming market, and snag it. And that is none other than Zombies Ate My Neighbors. This game is a really spectacular, different kind of action-adventure shooter game. As you can see, I'm a big fan. I even have a really cool print of the game's cover on right behind my Legends of the Hidden Temple game. So guys, right here. Zombies Ate My Neighbors. This is a Konami classic, made with LucasArts as well, developing the game. You walk around as either Zeke or the chick, I cannot remember her name and I apologize for that. But walking around, shooting up zombies, space aliens, mummies, and so much more, rescuing your neighbors. You've got some really questionable neighbors that are hanging out in very weird spots, because not every level takes place in your neighborhood. You start off in your neighborhood, venture out into the shopping mall, you go to Frankenstein's castle, you go to the pyramids in Egypt, and so many other places. But, yet again, you find yourself rescuing your neighbors, babies, dogs, guys grilling in the middle of a frickin' pyramid in Egypt. I love Zombies Ate My Neighbors. It is the perfect amount of campiness, awesome comedy and horror that you would expect from a 90s Attitude Era game. It really pays respects to a lot of the classic monster villains and horror movies. You've even got little killer dolls like Chucky in there that are throwing axes going took me back a bit. Anyways, this is a spectacular game that I spent hours and hours and hours playing. There's like over 55 levels, so there's no way, like as a kid, I could ever beat it. I definitely got my most bang for my buck with this game. And lastly, guys, we're going to talk about another game that kept me gaming throughout the 90s. This title was for the PlayStation 1 and is a Sony developed and published game, and that is none other than Ape Escape. Ape Escape is a totally awesome classic where, in essence, you are preventing a Planet of the Apes type future. There is a scientist who developed a really cool smart helmet for apes, and this helmet gets in the wrong hands, or gets in, the wrong hands basically from one ape. He goes power crazy, sends all of these little apes, or monkeys, or chimps, or whatever, back into different several times of history, and as they try to rewrite history and make the apes and the monkeys and chimps the primary rulers of the planet, you've got to go back and stop them. And how do you stop them? Well, you run around with a net, waggling it until they get in. The gameplay for this game is really cool. It's very unique. This is one game that definitely takes advantage of the DualShock controller. As a matter of fact, if you want to play this game, you better have a DualShock controller because it is required. The weapons in this game are really cool. You've got a lightsaber-like stun baton. You've got a net that when you capture, when you put the net over the ape, it sends them back into the current day where you're supposed to be. You've got a really cool little helicopter thing that the way you fly is you twist. See, you can see that right there in that picture. A lot of these weapons require a lot of DualShock action. In this game, guys, the soundtrack, the visuals, everything is just so much fun. And I love it. As soon as you take the disc out, you are treated to a really cool picture of some crazy chimps. This game I hold near and dear to my heart. I love this game, and if I ever find the Prima strategy guide for this game, I'm definitely picking it up in an instant because I love completing collections. So guys, let me ask you, what games got you into gaming? And if you fell out of gaming, what games got you back into gaming? Go ahead, comment in the comments below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And always, guys, take care. We'll see you next time.